Hi there, welcome to Shooting and Country TV. We are at the spectacular Orion range in Wales, which will allow you to shoot out from 50 metres all the way to a mile. So we've got everything we need here for this little test. The goal today is to take this off-the-shelf 2.2 LR and see how far we can push it. We've got a Schmidt Bender scope, a PM2, the new model on top. We've got the XTR rings from Burris, which are giving us 40 MOA of additional range, if you will, and we've got these excellent batch tested ELEY Tenex rounds.
This is the Tikka T1X UPR, the 2.2 LR version in this case. Just like its bigger brother, the T3X, the trigger is excellent, really crisp, and there's absolutely no creeping it whatsoever. The finish on the stock is interesting. It's a slightly unusual colour, but it's very grippy. You can really get a firm hold of the rifle, and it's ideal for this kind of work.
We're just at the short range at the moment. We've got at the 50, we're going to try at the 100 and out to the 200. And once we've got a feel for the rifle and see how the rounds are behaving, we'll get up on the hill and do some longer range stuff.
Tikkas are famous for having particularly smooth bolts, and this is a fine example. It really just glides into place.
Okay, the basic setup's complete. We've done some initial testing at 50, and now we're going to push it out to 100. And my stray lock calculations tell me we need to add 20 clicks, so we'll bang that on, and then we'll see how we go on at 100. It's a good shot. Okay, we're looking quite good at 100, getting some good impacts on the clays and the steel out there. So now we're going to move it out to 200 and see how we go on. Do the calculation, and we've got 76 clicks that need to be added from our 50 metre zero. Wind caught that one. Just to explain a little bit on what we've done with this basically off-the-shelf rifle to try and reach out to these longer distances. We've got the Burris XTR rings on there, and that allows us to put 40 MOA of additional elevation onto the shot, so basically. So at 100 metres we're gaining 11.6 MRAD, which so 116 clicks, additional clicks at 100 metres. And because we're doing that, I'll cut away and show you a shot. The actual scope looks quite tilted towards the muzzle, but that's how you can extend things out. And the beauty of the PM2 is a 34mm tube, and a 34mm tube means you have a larger erector tube inside, which means you can dial it a little further, and you can dial these PM2s, these Schmidt Benders, a very long way. So we're hoping to get a fair old distance today. Right, that's good. We're out to 200 now, and it's hitting clays quite well at this range. The odd miss, but that's mostly my fault. As we go a little bit further out, what I will do is add a bit more of a cheek riser to the rear of the stock. This does have one, as you can see, and it's fine. It's just the size of these mounts. It's pushing the scope quite high. The XTRs, they're doing a lot more than a normal mount. You've got to have the tilt in them to gain the extra MOA and so forth. So they're slightly higher than normal, which means I need to pad this out a little bit. On a normal setup with a traditional scope on a 0 MOA rail, you wouldn't need it at all, but as you'll probably see from the other shots, the scope is tilted quite aggressively, and it's pushing the back of the scope up, which is making the eye position quite hard. Just because we need a little bit more of a lift here, so I'll add that. So if you see that later in the on the open range, That's why we just need to get a little bit better cheek weld. Right, let's keep going. Hope you got that ding. Right, that should be it. Our initial testing's over with. We've got out to 200 comfortably, shooting clays and bits of steel, obviously. And the plan is now to get up on the hill, and we're going to try and stretch things out. Maybe get out to sort of 450, 550. We'll see where the targets are and when we run out of elevation. But so far, so good. Well, now we're out on the hill at Orion, and it's not only beautiful, it's a fantastic place to be. It's a great place to shoot. We're really going to stretch things out a little bit now. The idea is to go from the 200 we had down at the sort of zeroing range, and the steel here, the next one is at 400. So we'll see how we go with that. Right, before we get on to the actual shooting, just tell you a little bit about the ammo we're using. We were lucky enough to get Tenex, so ELEY, to supply Tenex, which is their sort of premium long range round. To actually get it as good as we possibly could, ELEY were kind enough to invite me down to their testing range, and we took the rifle and we actually batch tested every single batch they had available. There was probably 10, 12, maybe more, and this is the perfect batch for this barrel, and they supplied us with plenty of that, and so far it's working perfectly.
Having the chance to batch test ammunition is a real help in this situation. Obviously it's a combination of the rifle and the ammunition, but the two are shooting really well. It's easily the most accurate .22 LR I've ever shot.
Right, we're just getting ready for the first attempt at the 400 metre shot now, or shots, and there will be several. We've got quite a strong 20 mile an hour southeasterly, so it's kind of whipping left and right. So essentially I'm just getting my excuses in early for missing, which I almost certainly will. But it is a stiff breeze and it's a decent distance. And we're using the Tenex. It's only a 40 grain bullet, so in this wind it does get blown around a little bit. But I'm sure it'll do as good a job as it possibly can. And well, less talking, less excuses, let's get on with it. Right, we're just setting up for the first 400 metre shot, and we've got to dial in for that. And it's a fair old dial. We've got to go up to 22.5. And one of the great things about this PM2 scope is you have the little indicator. So once you've gone past the first rotation, it pops up, and then the yellow figures become your active dial, if you will. So you can never really get lost with it, which is a great feature really. So there we've got 22.5, which is the predicted dope, and we'll take a couple of shots and see how we go.
Ooh, 6 o'clock.
Fraction over.
Hey.
Hey, hey, hey. Ding. It's a very quiet ding. Well, there we go. Another hit. Yeah, I really like this setup. 400 metres is a long way with a 22 LR. Obviously, much further than you'd ever shoot live quarry with, miles further. But for target shooting, great fun, inexpensive. And this rig, I really like. The stock's excellent, great grip. The amount of dial on this scope is absolutely enormous. You know, to be honest, I've no idea how far we'll get. It could be it could be a ridiculous distance. But yeah, it's a great rig. It works really well. Trigger's good. No problems at all. And really, with the aid of stray lock, we've more or less dialed in within a couple of shots. So yeah, it's impressive. Right, we're actually getting some hits. We're out at 400 metres now. Been a few misses. The wind's whipping around a little bit, and as John has told me from Orion, you get three-dimensional wind here, so you get up these slopes, you get the bullet lifted occasionally. So we've had a few slightly high shots, a couple wide. It's blustery, but it's getting there. We've had I'd say 4 or 5 hits now, and yeah, it's looking promising. See how much further we can go. We're going to go out to 486 now, so we'll do the calculation for that and see where we are. And that gives us 30.1. So we'll dial up. Okay, right. We're running out of dial at 27, which is fine because that's still a hell of a distance for a 2.2 rimfire to be shooting, especially one, and that's the whole point of this exercise really. This rifle is zeroed at 50 metres. It's not a kind of a fantasy piece where we're zeroing it at 100 or 200 and unrealistic distance for a rimfire. This is actually zeroed at 50, and that's important because you could dial it straight back down to nothing and bowl over a bunny with it, no problem at all, at the typical sort of 50 metre distance. So stretching it out to just under 500 metres with one scope and MOA on these rings is quite an achievement really, and it's a testament to the Schmidt Bender that it's getting this far. So what we'll have to do is we'll get it up to 27, and that will give us another 3.1 MRAD to hold over, which we can do in the reticle because there's probably 10 MRADs in the reticle as well. So we're going to hold over by about 3.1, and hopefully we should still be able to make that shot. Let's give it a go. Well, that's it for the day. I think we've achieved our goal, which was to find out how far you could push 2.2 LR, and it looks like the practical limit for subsonics, and don't forget zeroed at 50 metres, is 400 metres. That's where we got to. We did get a couple of hits on at 486, but it was just dumb luck and all a bit random really. You couldn't correct. You couldn't see the splashes particularly well either, so it's got a maximum to it. I'd say a realistic maximum of about 400. We were hitting quite regularly at that. As far as the kit goes, can't fault it. The Schmidt Bender, it's lovely. It's a lovely optic. The notification on the turret is a nice thing as you're going around for your second rotation. Optically, it's lovely, nice and sharp, clear, crisp. Yeah, can't fault it. The Burris rings, which I think they are XTR rings. That's what gave us the range that we've got. There's 40 MOA, should I say, of adjustment in there, thanks to those. And of course, we can't forget the Tikka T1X UPR, ultimate precision rifle, apparently. Yeah, lived up to its name, shot really well. I can't fault it. It's been a great fun today. And I am surprised how far we did get out and get some consistent hits. And last but not least, look at this place. It's absolutely stunning. It's a superb facility. You can shoot out to 1 kilometre, you can shoot out to 50 metres if you want to, but out on these hills it's just beautiful, and can't recommend Orion highly enough. They've been great today. They've really looked after us, and what a facility. It's superb. So huge thanks to them, huge thanks to the suppliers for all the bits and bobs, and hopefully we've established that at least with subsonics on a 50 metre zero, about 400 is about as far as you're going to get. Alright, see you soon. Bye for now.